So a lot of the animals you're going to see aren't frequently kept animals in captivity and can be really difficult to care for. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now today I thought I'd film an updated all my animals video. I've kind of reintroduced my new channel in the previous video that I've just filmed. So to go along with that, I thought I'd show you guys all the animals I keep now because it is different. So I keep a lot of British native animals. They are all either captive bred or a few of my amphibians are captive hatched. So from spawn I have collected and hatched and reared myself. So it is not commonly kept animals, and I don't advise that people go out and get these animals. Not that they're easy to come by, because they are very, very hard to find captive bred individuals. It's a very niche side of reptile keeping or animal keeping in general. I guess what I'm trying to say is these aren't typical pets. These are the animals I keep for the purpose of British wildlife education, but they're certainly not suitable for the vast majority of pet owners out there. So let's get on with the video and I'll show you guys what I've got. Okay, so I'm going to start with the reptiles first. And so the first ones I'm going to introduce are these guys. So these guys are my two captive bred Natrix helvetica. That is the British native barred grass snake. I think one is male and one is female. So this is Lovelace. Lovelace is the female. She's very heavily barred, so she's super pretty. And this one is Newton. Newton is my little male. These are siblings that were hatched last year. These guys are so cool. This is one of my favourite species to keep. They are really active, really inquisitive. So you might be able to see on my hand, one of them has musked. I wish you guys could smell this. It's so fragrant. Grass snakes are known for musking, so particularly wild ones, if you pick them up, they will often musk, and that's a kind of really smelly and foul tasting excretion. And it's to put predators off, basically. These guys are pretty relaxed to handle. Often I can get them out and handle them and not be musked at all. My male in particular is really good, which is this little guy. He's in shed at the moment, so I will put him back in a sec. Okay, so next up is another snake, and this is really special. Like, I still just genuinely don't believe that I have him. He's just incredible. There's only a few keepers of these in the UK. And when I say a few, I mean like maybe 3 or 4. So this guy is a smooth snake, which is Coronella austriaca. That is the rarest reptile in the UK. They're highly protected, but this is a captive bred individual that I imported from France. Oh, and I didn't say his name. His name is Snipe. This is Snipe the smooth snake. In the wild, they are very secretive. I'm very lucky to be able to survey wild ones, so I do have a really keen interest in these. It is absolutely the pinnacle of reptile keeping for me. I'm just in permanent awe of this animal. So to lots of people, I imagine he just looks like a kind of boring brown snake, but they're my favourite ones. The boring brown stuff is always some of the most interesting, I think. Even like the pattern close up, he's almost iridescent in places. He's got really lovely orange tones to him. Oh, he's beautiful. So yeah, that's Snipe, my adult male smooth snake. He's my pride and joy. I love you. So that is it for now for the British native reptiles. So Next reptile is not a British one, it is my common Burr. This is Pablo. He's a snake I've had for a few years now, and one of the 2 remaining reptiles I have that aren't British natives. And sometime this year Pablo will be moving to live with a good friend of mine. So he's not going to be with me shortly, but for now he is. And he's turning into a big boy. I got this guy as a baby, so it's been so nice watching him grow. Oh, beautiful. No, we're not taking them off. No, we're not taking the glasses off today. Okay, so next up is my last reptile, and again not a British native. This is Arthur, and he's my adult male Kenyan sand boa, and he is adorable. Everyone loves Arthur. The amount of people that have come around being fearful of snakes, Arthur always changes their mind. He's been such a pleasure to keep. I don't know if you guys know Kenyan sand boas, but look at the face. Look at those derpy eyes. What a cutie. He's just like a floppy worm. So along with my common boa, which was the previous snake, Pablo, Arthur is also going to be moving in with a good friend of mine later this year. Both going to the same home where I know they're going to be really well looked after, and she's been after her own snakes for a while. And I will love being able to keep in touch with them and watch them do well with her. As much as I adore my 2 boas and I love keeping them and they're very special to me, which is why I'll only part with them to my friend, I do need to focus on the future of my reptile keeping, which is British natives, because that's just where my heart lies. But you are cute. So that is Arthur, my Kenyan sand boa. Okay, so we are now moving over to amphibians, which is a bit tricky because they're difficult to film. Look at those absolutely stunning animals. So these guys are for sure my favourite amphibians to keep. They are another British native species. These are 2 of my 5 common toads, which is the Bufo Bufo. I don't have names for them because they're too young for me to accurately sex them, but they do have a theme to their names, so will be assigned their names once I know the sex of them. So unfortunately this species are experiencing quite a big decline in the UK, so they are listed as near threatened. These guys came from spawn that I collected last year and reared myself from an area in which they would have been very unlikely to survive, as it was a very big fish pond. So I did take a clump of frog spawn and a clump of toad spawn and reared them myself. I released almost all of them back where they were, and I've kept just a handful to hopefully captive breed them once they're of the right size. Obviously these guys are siblings and all related, so I do have another batch of toad spawn and frog spawn that I'm also rearing at the moment. They're currently tadpoles. These guys live outdoors in a really nice live planted outdoor enclosure, and they are doing so well. I don't know if you can appreciate the sheer plumpness of these animals. They are so fat. They're obviously gorging on food in their outdoor enclosure. So that is 2 of my 5 captive hatched juvenile common toads. Now I do also have a couple hundred common toad tadpoles and maybe 50 or so common frog tadpoles. They're in an outdoor enclosure, so I can get some footage of them and insert that here. I also have 2 juvenile captive hatched common frogs. Again, they're in an outdoor enclosure and they're probably quite deep in a pond, and I don't want to bother them to get them out, but I'll try and get some footage of them and I'll insert that here if I do. Okay, so next up we have this beautiful girl. Say hi. This is Posy and she is my 2-year-old Sphinx. Ow, gentle. She is the queen of the house. She owns the place. There's not that much else to say. She's food obsessed. She lives to eat, cuddle, and be kissed. What an angel. What a precious girl. I had wanted a Sphinx for ages, so we got her from a fantastic breeder, and she is the most confident, social cat I have ever met. She's basically a dog in a cat's body. She's just surpassed all my expectations of the breed. She's perfect. Perfect girl. Look at her. All she cares about is food. So my next animal is Sausage. He's a beautiful silver tabby munchkin. He doesn't like being held, so I'm not going to hold him too much. But he is a rescue cat. He's 12 years old. We've only had him for a year. And he's a really lovely boy. He's best friends with our Sphinx. Some of you may know him from TikTok if you've come from TikTok. He was a little bit of a famous cat on there. Don't jump up there. We did. So Sausage is a munchkin, which is a breed bred with purposeful dwarfism. It's not a breed I am overly keen on in general, because it just doesn't sit right to me to breed cats with purposeful dwarfism, which is what munchkins are. You get standard and non-standard munchkins, so ones with and without the dwarfism gene. Okay, so next up we have the invertebrates. So this is the Steatoda nobilis, which is the noble false widow spider. These guys are an invasive species found in mainly southern Britain. They are mildly venomous and they can bite people if provoked, but the bite is no more than a kind of bee sting. So they're certainly not as dangerous as they have been made out to be. So I do have 10 of those, and they're not fully grown. I believe they were hatched last year, so they're pretty young still. They've got some growing to do, but they're pretty cool to keep. So next up are my 2 tarantulas. I did have more than that, and most of them I've moved on, so I've got 2 left, and they actually belong to my 6-year-old son now, who really likes them. Here we have a Mexican red knee, which I believe is Brachypelma hamori. It was Smith Eye when I got it, but I believe they've been reclassified and it definitely needs rehousing soon. I'll be doing that in the next week or so. And the other one we have is a Grammostola pulchra, which is a Brazilian black, and she is stunning. Her name is Nyx. She is female, which I've been able to confirm by her most recent molt, but she's such a slow growing species. Oh, she's so pretty. Again, she needs rehousing too. Do you want to sit up a bit so people can see you? Go on your knees maybe? So my son Sydney wanted to show you the next one because this is his animal. It's not in focus, just... this is one of several... What are they?
They're called African giant snails.
Yeah, giant African land snails. These guys are Achatina reticulata. You had two grown-ups, didn't you? One was... What was their names? Can you remember?
One was Teapot and one was Rainbow.
Yeah, we had Teapot and Rainbow.
But one of them died.
Yeah, unfortunately Rainbow died just a few weeks ago. So we've got Teapot left. They're quite old now, aren't they? And they were an unrelated pair, so we did actually have... Babies. We did have babies, and a lot of them were sold on. But Sydney has kept a handful, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he going to come out and say hello?
Yes, he has. Look at his eyes.
Let's see if we can focus it. So we have just disturbed this one from eating some banana, haven't we?
Yeah.
So he's a bit cross.
He thinks my glove is a blueberry.
Does he?
Yes. Because he's trying to eat it.
So we'll put him back and let him finish his banana, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your help. So last but certainly not least is probably the most well-known and famous animal I have. He is very famous on TikTok. He's had videos that have reached over 18 million views, so he is a pretty famous boy. And that is Freddy. He is a captive bred and hand-reared tawny owl, which is Strixa leuco. Tawny owls are the most common and widespread species in the UK, and so yeah, another British native. I'm a massive fan of British native birds, and even more so British native birds of prey. I love them. I love you. Yeah. So Freddy is the love of my life, aren't you? I adore him beyond words. Look at that. Look at you, handsome boy. So Freddy is going to be 16 this month. On the 23rd of April is his hatch day, and I got him when he was 7 years old. So we have been with each other for quite a long time. I was gifted him by my father in collaboration with my falconry mentor as a surprise when I was, I think, 17 years old. So he is my first personal bird of prey, and I just love him dearly. I've put so much work and time and effort into building a really strong bond with this bird. He gets flown regularly for those that worry that I've just got a pet owl. I really want to stay away from the kind of typical pet owl stereotype, which the falconry community will be well aware of. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people keeping owls in captivity very inappropriately, with little to no knowledge on falconry practices, or even just general behavioural handling, training of birds of prey. But Freddy is an ex-educational display bird, so he used to fly in educational displays to the public to teach them all about owls, and he used to live at a bird of prey centre that I used to work at with my falconry mentor, and so that's how I've ended up with him. And yeah, he's just such a joy. He's such a lovely boy. What have you seen? Hey? It's very windy out there, isn't it? Freddy is usually pretty vocal, but we're in a new room that he doesn't spend really any time in, so he's not fully comfortable and he's just checking things out, looking out the window. It's a new view. Yeah? It's pretty chilled though. You're not going to say hi? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it really interesting, and see you guys in the next video. Bye! Say bye!